If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Brian Billick joining us here, talking all things football here. You know, from back to the Deflategate thing and where the league goes and the investigations.
You can't
on the
let
Ray
that thing go, can
No.
you?
I want to go to Goodell. I want to go I want to go there for the off season for all that he's been through. I think we were all waiting for the press conference in September where he steps down, or because they were out to get him, they were out to get Steve Bisciotti, they were out to get Ozzie, and they didn't get anybody in their briefcase. In any case, Goodell's still here. He's still going to hold a press conference.
I love Steve Bisciotti's response when he was being, got up there, and we know Steve doesn't particularly care to do that. But those that were trying to intimating that well, could you lose the club? And he kind of looked at that like, okay, how do I respond to that? Because that ain't going to happen. It was.
But there were definitely people that thought that Goodell was under siege at one point. He has been out of this football thing the last 2 weeks, but he is going to have to take the podium on Friday here and have some questions. I thought it was really interesting. Richard Sherman says a lot of things. A lot of it makes sense, a lot of it doesn't. One of his thoughts, and Luke has alluded to this a couple times this week, which is, why doesn't he have a press conference every week? He makes $40 million a year. Why doesn't he have a press conference?
He's making more than any of them.
Let's do that.
But, the league has gotten so big, we're sitting here.
I'll be the apologist for the league right now.
Okay.
Roger Goodell didn't create these situations. It's just been, he didn't create Deflategate. An accusation's been made, and he has to deal with it. He didn't orchestrate a style or a culture that led to the Ray Rice or Adrian Peterson situation. He just has to deal with it. Right. So this isn't
tough job.
Yes, it is. Well, that's why he makes $25 million a year. This isn't okay. We're going to try to take concussions out of the game, and we're going to minimize the hits. And the players going, no, you're taking too much out of the game, or you're not taking care of the older players, because the league is an active participant in that. So you can criticize me for that, and I'll take that on. These others are simply situations that have been thrust upon me that we have to deal with as a league. So even the Ray Rice thing, I was set back a little bit when those that were going after Roger Goodell. Like he had hit his wife in the elevator.
Right.
Look, I'm just trying to respect all parties involved, the individuals, the victim, the league as the whole. I'm responding to the information I've given. And you're right, you can be critical about how could you have not gotten the video. That's okay, you're either incompetent because you didn't go after the video, or you're immoral because you didn't do more and you really got and you're lying. Right. So those aren't really great choices. But that's the situation that's delivered to him. He didn't create those.
Well, it's just interesting from the commissioner standpoint. All those years with Goodell, or with Rozelle, and then with Tagliabue, it was let's grow the league, let's grow the sport, let's make money, let's change the rules, let's add teams, let's expand, let's deal with lawsuits from Al Davis. I just think over the last year and a half, I feel like Goodell's doing this rope-a-dope as a commissioner, and it's peacetime with labor. Usually the commissioner thing really comes down to get the players on the field. Let's not have a strike. Let's divide the income and all that. He really does have a complicated job. I mean, it felt a little cushy when he took it, and I've never seen a commissioner under this kind of fire for ethics, for integrity. As much as
Pete Rozelle didn't have to deal with these, or Pete Rozelle certainly, or nor did Rozelle or Tagliabue have to deal with this, given all the immediacy of the media right now.
Sure.
He was able to do it behind closed doors more easily.
Well, there was a thought about controlling the media. There's no such thing.
So Roger Goodell has a tougher job just in the fact that there's the explosion of all the technology. Everything is instantaneous, and it changes. But it's, is he going to lose his job? It's never made more money. They've never had more people watching it. 45 of the top 50 shows all last year were NFL games.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, let's get rid of this guy.
As a former head coach, shifting a little bit here, what's your take on Marshawn Lynch? I mean, you were clearly a coach who was savvy enough with the media to understand they had a job to do. But at the same time, I'm thinking as a head coach, you probably don't mind a player who wants nothing to do with the media.
No, and I would think the media would be tired of getting played by Marshawn Lynch. He's making you look silly.
Right.
Those of you who are trying to draw him out in a different way, why bother? There's not enough else going on The guy doesn't want to talk, okay? The league says he has to have X amount of time. He'll do that. He's kind of making chumps of the media, personally, in my opinion, because you're playing into it like it's this huge conspiracy. The guy doesn't want to talk. Go talk. Is he really any different than Bill Belichick?
Not really.
When Bill Belichick said that, well, what about this? We're just getting ready for Kansas City. Well, we're just getting ready for – what do you do it 27 times? Is it any different than to me, it's much ado about nothing.
Well, when I saw Bob Kraft, and I was sitting right where I'm sitting when Kraft got off the plane the other night, I saw some Billick in that.
But they did it much better than I did. They did it over the weekend in concert together. Right. I waited till Monday on site in front of 2,000 media, where I called them ambulance chasers.
And they love you for that.
Their style was a little different.
What was the line? It's inappropriate, and you're not qualified. I love that.
Yeah, which is true, by the way. But
he said that to me before too. By the way.
But it was. But what did it do? The same thing. It drew the line that said, "We've addressed this. You can ask. We're not answering it going forward. We've done that. Been there, done that. We're moving on."
This is all great, and we love the league, and I guess this is the celebration of love in the league. I'm kind of saddened that I've talked so much about the Deflategate thing, but I think it really is when integrity is being called into question. I always thought the one thing that would really hurt the league would be a crooked ref. I mean, the NBA went through that, and the gambling and all that part of it, but I find it interesting that integrity keeps coming back, and that's where it stops with Goodell.
For me, again, you're talking about two separate things. The competitive disadvantage, I don't know, maybe, and I'll defer to Spencer Tillman on that. But to me, one of the things, the strengths of this league is what was the 60s, since we had a scandal, a betting scandal.
Sure.
And why? It was zero tolerance, because you can't have it.
Right.
Oh, we can go through 3 steps of programs if you're on this and you're smoking dope and you're doing the other stuff. But when it comes to gambling, this is zero tolerance. You do it, you're done, you're gone, because you've got to have the integrity.
Well, look at baseball. They hung Pete Rose, and they've hung him for 30 years. I don't hear anything about baseball, anybody gambling in baseball. It has become the ultimate taboo.
So in that regard, yes, this is very serious. If there was a culpable disregard, blatant disregard for the rule. And now that's a high bar to prove, and the sanction can't be enough if indeed they can prove that. As opposed to Tom Brady telling the ball boy, no, that's too much. Take some out. Now, Tom Brady didn't say, take it down to 9.5. He just said, that's too pumped up, take a little out.
Yeah.
And did the ball boy then take too much out? Now, the fact that all 11 were the same, he wanted them to feel the same. Who broke, and I hope it's not just some ball boy. That's like the economic crisis in 8 and 9, and the only person that's been prosecuted is some slappy, low-level broker. That's the reason? It's the only guy that's gone to jail because of it? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I hope we just don't end up crucifying some ball boy over this.
Anything you doing out here this weekend? You working game day?
Doing NFL Network. You want to catch my playbook show on Friday night? We're going to have a great time closing that out. And then I'll do the pregame for the NFL Network all the way up to game time.
And you'll call me whenever you feel like it.
That's right.
Whenever we can get together.
Now the season's over. That'll be far and few between. I'm going to call Jen a lot.
She's
welcome any time. But
I hope you do.
I don't want to talk to you.
All right, we'll come down, ride the horses, see the dogs, and all that stuff. Okay, Coach Brian Billick, our partner here at WNST.net. I just want to say publicly, love you, appreciate all that you've done.
You all.
No one more supportive of my wife. They're
easy to do.
Appreciate it.
Glad to see her doing so well.
WNST.net and AM 1570. We are live in Phoenix. Yeah, I love when the coach just drops the mic. Just boom, drops the mic. That's fine. You drop the mic. There it is.
What do you want him to do? Come in screaming like a banshee?
Yeah, with a spear. With a spear. Don't forget the spear part. Brian Billick, our partner on behalf of the Living Classrooms Foundation. He's Luke. I'm Nestor. It's all brought to you by Charles Newsonoff & Sons, Continental title, and everything we're doing here has been it's been fun, right?
It's been great. It's
nonstop. It's like it never ends.
I'll pull the hardball here. Who's got it better than us?
Nobody. We are WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.